I bought about 25 pounds of peaches so that I could save them for over the winter. This winter, I'm really trying my best to preserve as much food as I possibly can. I also went to the garden and grabbed carrots, tomatoes, peppers, and then I also grabbed some hot peppers as well. I'm just kind of slowly grabbing them over the weeks to come. I'm going to freeze as much of it as I can. We have a lot of freezers, but not necessarily freezer space because we use all of our freezer space for meat. But I think Christian's gonna give me a section of some of the chest freezers that I can freeze some of these veggies in so that we can have them over the winter. These peaches are organic. They're from the Niagara region and they're so freaking good. They literally smell amazing. I'm just gonna let them ripen up on the counter for a couple days before I freeze them. I might slice some of them up, I might freeze some of them whole. One of the things I miss the most in the winter is fruit. And I know that you can get fruit from the grocery store, but technically it's not in season. We eat a lot of squash and potatoes and meat and then other veggies, carrots, things like that, more like root vegetables throughout the winter. Pouring rain today. I kind of love it though because I'm just having like a cozy Sunday to myself. Christian goes to the farmer's markets on Sundays, so Sundays are like my prep day. It's like the day that I just tidy up, clean, I'll prep, make meals for the week. It's like a big organization day for me. It's also a very slow day. It's like a very cozy day, especially because it's raining. So it's definitely a cozy day. I just started the Throne of Glass series. As you saw, I was reading this morning and I just finished the second book, Crown of Midnight, and it's so good. I think it's the prequel book that she recommends, Sarah J. Maas, the author, recommends to read third, Assassin's Blade, I think. So I'm gonna read that now, but oh my god, the second book was so good. I literally didn't even think it could get better than the first book. It's so freaking good and I'm obsessed with it. Okay, I'm gonna just set these here. I'll probably wash some of these veggies. I do still need to go do some chores. I'm like really behind on that. It just started raining, so I kept putting it off, but I gotta go bring water to the pigs and I gotta fill the cows water as well. So we can go do that together. And then I might do some cooking or baking. We'll see where the day takes us. Mother-in-law brought over these beautiful hydrangeas so they could dry out and then I could decorate my house with them, like put them in different spots of the house. I think most of them are pretty dry. I think I'm gonna start putting them around the house. Raining a little bit, so I'm gonna do farm chores. Definitely late today that I should have done this morning. So hopefully Christian doesn't watch my YouTube video. Know that I did the chores really late today. So I just need to fill up this water basin for the cows. They're just all the way back there. And I'm gonna bring some water to the pigs. Oh my gosh, it's so cold. When I got there, it's been raining so much that their water was actually already full, like it's like halfway full. So I just topped it up, but I don't feel as guilty now for going out late and having a very lazy morning. So cold, like my hands are freezing. All I want to do is be cozy and have a tea. Maybe I'll make my pajamas. Why does it feel illegal? I'm like, I really want to put my pajamas back on, really? How you girls doing? Sweater on. I put soft pajamas. Not yet. I know that slow living and soft life is very trendy right now. Sort of just want to talk about my experience with that and trying to figure out what it really means to live a soft life and just figure out what does it mean to actually slow down. I think everything swings on a pendulum. Everything always goes really far one way and then everything goes far back the other way. I feel like I should just start with my story. My mid to late 20s were like really grinding years. Like I was grinding it out. I was working my butt off. I was obsessed with making money. I was obsessed with work. I was basically, work came before everything in this season of my life. I was your typical girl boss energy and just basically, yeah, it was, I didn't cook for myself. Work came before food. I didn't clean the house. I hired someone. I would outsource things that took too much of my time. I had never cooked for Christian, who's my husband now. We were just dating at the time. I never really cooked for us. I didn't care about keeping a home tidy. I literally just cared about work. I just only thought about work. I only thought about making money. I was obsessed. And you can only go at that pace for so long until you burn out, or until you, in my case, I feel like two things happen at the same time. I made a bunch of money and then realized that I was still not very happy. Like it didn't fix or solve any of my problems. I actually ended up getting everything that I wanted. I ended up buying a home. I ended up making a ton of money, getting super far in my career, and I just was still not happy. And I actually found myself falling into a dark depression at the same time. So it was the pandemic at the same time. There, you know, the pandemic played a massive part in that. But it was just a very interesting, it was like a perfect storm, me to be like stripped down of all these things that I had been holding on to and thought were going to basically make me happy and fulfill me, and they didn't. So I had to go through that process of sort of just pulling myself out of depression, and I could talk about that in another video. I don't really know if anyone would want me to talk about that. Pulling myself out of that. And then I had to figure out, okay, I don't want to burn out again, because I also burned out at that time. It was a combination of things, but I still need to make money and I still need to support myself. And I had to figure out, is it possible to get ahead in your life and have balance? That was like a question that I would ask myself constantly, and I didn't really believe that was possible, because I'd only ever gotten ahead with like super intense hard work and just like intensity around everything that I did. And so I didn't believe that you could actually get ahead in any other way than that. Like burning out was the only option. Having no boundaries was the only option. Making work like the #1 priority was the only way to do it. That's like what I believed. And so it was so hard for me to figure out that balance was possible. It's interesting, like this slow living trend and slowing down. I think it was very important for me to do that because I needed like a detox. I needed to really slow down. Like I needed to figure out who I was. I was going through what felt like an existential crisis at the time. To make a long story short, what I will say is since moving to the farm, since we moved out to the country, it forced me to slow down in so many different ways. I started to care more about the home, being a homemaker, being a really good wife. It also showed me, and especially even like watching my husband and us building this farm together, a farm or living in the country sort of shows you an interesting complexity to slow life and slow living, because there are definitely slow seasons on the farm. Like the winter is really slow, fall things start to slow down. but in a lot of ways there are still a ton of responsibilities. What I truly believe to be slow life or this soft life, I think it's the intensity in which you do things and a lack of intentionality. So I think that when I was in that season where I was like really crazed and obsessed and passionate and intense around what I was doing, it's not that that's bad. It's honestly not that that's bad. I had a lot of fun and I learned a lot and I grew a lot. I made a lot of money for someone who was like 28, 29 years old, had different responsibilities, learned how to manage different responsibilities. However, it was my lack of boundaries and my lack of, I put nothing before work. So when you do that, you realize like, what is the life you're gonna go back to after that? Like if you're constantly doing that, if you have no boundaries, the first thing you do is touch your phone when you wake up. The last thing you do is touch your phone before you go to bed. It's okay to be obsessed, and there are definitely years where they're gonna be more challenging and you're building more than others, for sure. But I would never do that again. Even if I was super passionate about, you know, for example, I'm really passionate about doing my YouTube. I'm super passionate about doing my YouTube. But all the lessons I've learned in working, I'm now applying to this. I still filmed all day. I still have to plan it out. I write everything down. I plan what I want to film, and it still takes work. I think this is like the confusing part for a lot of people, is this slow life. Like work is still involved. Like even when you become a mom, I'm not a mom, but even when you become a mom, that is work. It's a job. Every day there is a responsibility that you have. I think humans are like constantly trying to find purpose. And what I realized, and this helped me a lot when I was like really depressed during that time, life is like literally an accumulation of all the tiny little things that you do in your life. It's doing the dishes, it's clearing the table, it's sitting down for dinner, it's going to sleep, it's reading a book. It's like, it's not the massive big milestones in your life. It's actually like your tiny little mundane things: brushing your teeth, having breakfast, having your morning coffee. It's all the in-between moments. And so once I stopped trying to escape those moments, which is what I was doing when I was just focused on building and working and making money, then I could enjoy my life, because I could enjoy all of it, all the little pieces, all the things that I thought were mundane and just not a priority. I could prioritize my friends, I could prioritize my partner, my family. It was difficult for me for a long time, because then I kind of became super apathetic, didn't care about money at all, didn't care about working, was like, I don't want to work anymore. And that's not a good place to be either, because you do want to, you want to be waking up every day with like this really good feeling of unpredictability, in a sense that anything is possible and anything can happen. But you also need to be putting your best foot forward. Even if you're, you know, whatever, doesn't matter what job you have, if you're doing the best you absolutely can at that job every single day, opportunities will come to you and opportunities will come to fruition. I've seen it firsthand with building this farm. I've seen the opportunities that we have been, even this property where we live, even when we moved here, where we moved from, we used to live in that log cabin. Like, those were all opportunities that came to us in our path, because for the most part, Christian, my husband, he was putting his best foot forward in everything that he did every single day. And my husband loves farming, loves it so much. But of course there's some mornings he doesn't want to get up and do chores. Of course there's some nights he doesn't want to go back and water the pigs or feed the pigs or collect the eggs. Like, of course there's some days he doesn't want to drive all the way to the market. But you just start to realize that a lot of it is how you think about things and not actually how things are. And it's like the way we feel about them and the way we think about them. So it's very long-winded, but I do think that this whole slow life, slow living thing, I think it veered people in the wrong direction and maybe move people away from wanting to work or wanting to apply themselves, when what I have actually come to find at living on a farm and living in the country is that we work all the time, and our job of raising these animals we can't walk away from it. We can't go on vacation and say bye to the animals. Like, we have responsibilities that we cannot let go of. When you experience that and you realize that this like slow, I would say I live a lifestyle where it's the soft life, like that's what it looks like on the outside. Everybody wants to live this peaceful life in the country, and it is, but it comes with work and responsibilities and hard days and easy days and slow days and fast seasons and slow seasons. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of talk about that and give my like opinion or just my thoughts on the soft life and my experience in trying to find synchronicity and balance. I think that synchronicity and balance can exist. I just think it's a matter of like what that looks like for you. Yeah, that's sort of my experience. But if there's anything that I touched on that you want me to go deeper about, I totally can. Hopefully I made sense and I didn't ramble too much. I've wanted to talk about that for so long. I hope that helps somebody. I'm gonna go downstairs and make some chocolate chip cookies. And I have nothing else on the agenda today but that. So it's a good soft life day. I just thought of a couple more things I wanted to say because I just sat down to read. When you are someone who is very driven and you get to that place of burnout and you find yourself unable to figure out how to work without burning out, or you're so fixated on always doing things and you only want to apply time and energy to work, you almost have to teach yourself how to do things that will not provide you any monetary value whatsoever. So I almost had to like relearn and practice the habit of doing things not because I was going to make money from them or because they contributed to work, like something as simple as reading a book just for amusement of reading and enjoying a good book that wasn't self-development because I used to read, but it would always be like self-help books or books about money or books about business or whatever it was. So it was still technically felt like work. I never had that relaxing, read a book, fall asleep type moment. It was always to just get better and be better and reach a certain point. If you're watching this and you have burnt out at some point and you're trying to find a place of synchronicity, I think it just takes time. I think every day looks a little bit different and you need to like relearn maybe some habits or implement patterns into your life that are of no monetary value to you or do not contribute to your job or to your work, but they contribute to other things. A little niche maybe, and it's very specific to my industry. I was using everything in my life so that I could post it or share it or somehow monetize off of it. Nothing was off the table. Like, I didn't go to the gym necessarily because it was good for me. I went to the gym because I knew I could film it and then I could use it. It almost became so bad that I would always think, what is the filming opportunity? What is the content opportunity in all these areas of my life? Going out for dinner, like, okay, great, I can film it. I get invited to something and I would just want to capitalize on everything or leverage everything that I was doing in my life so that I could somehow monetize it or use it or create from it. But it's just the blending of realities and having no boundaries once again. So I just wanted to share that because I read all the time now and I never used to just read a book that wasn't, you know, how to get rich or like something to do with your mental health or your self-betterment. Not that I don't think I think those books are great and they serve a time and a place and they have a purpose, but it's nice to just read a little fiction every once in a while, especially the Throne of Glass series. It's so freaking good. I've come a long way. I've really come a long way. Definitely never thought I would get to a place where I could just sit and read and not stress or feel guilty about not working. That's another thing, is like the guilt and shame that comes up when you aren't working or when you do slow down. Then you have to like teach yourself how to enjoy the present moment and not be that was probably harder actually for me than anything else. That's probably what went last. Is even if I would read or take a break or do something that was not related to work, the guilt that would come from that, the feeling of guilt and shame of not working, feeling lazy, incompetent, you know, just my worth was so attached and tied to work that when I wouldn't work, I just felt, you know, it was just a spiral of shameful thoughts and anyways, yeah, I don't know why I felt like sharing it on this video. I feel like because it was like a slow Sunday vlog, cozy Sunday. Just feel like it went hand in hand. Again, if there's anything that I brought up that you want to touch on further, I'm kind of learning what you guys want to see in these videos, and it's also finally my opportunity to talk about deeper things that I've wanted to talk about for so long but just felt like I didn't have a place to do that. So yeah, I'm really loving YouTube, you guys, so much. My camera actually broke. I totally forgot to mention this, but my camera actually broke last week. I was devastated. I bawled my eyes out. My eyes were like red and swollen. I was so sad. The whole day I was crying pretty much. Just because I had felt so excited that I'd started filming, and then as I was filming YouTube, I dropped my camera and it broke. I just got it fixed. This is my same camera. I didn't buy a new one. Yeah, just a little bump in the road, that's all.